You're listening to ChainLeak, the crypto news podcast with your host, Joshuwa Roomsberg. Follow and subscribe today.
Welcome to the ChainLeak podcast. I'm your host, Joshuwa Roomsberg. Today's episode is about the 0xCamp Accelerator Program, presented by XDC Network. Today's guest, Bimlesh, the co-founder of Foundership. Welcome to the show, brother.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Joshua. I know it's late night in where you are, and thank you so much for staying up late and doing this. Super excited to be here.
So, for the everyday user who might not be familiar with the funding behind each of these projects that are available on the market today, can we go into what Foundership does to help blossom projects?
Sure, absolutely. So let me give you a quick introduction to Foundership, and then I'll jump into your question, right? So
Okay.
Foundership is a Web3 accelerator in the VC. We started about 3 years ago. Me and my co-founder, both of us have been serial entrepreneurs building global products in the SaaS ecosystem space for over 15 years now. Both of us have had successful exits and continue to build ventures. We are very passionate in working with early stage founders because we believe that we are people first type of personalities that we bring to the table. And being a founder and also wearing the VC hat, it's a very different perspective than someone just trying to wear a VC hat and investing when talking to founders. And we also come with that experience that having worked in accelerators before or having joined other accelerators before, we wanted to bring that unique perspective that in understanding the challenges by being in the shoes of a founder, what it takes to actually build with a lot of constraints early on. And when some of these constraints get opened up, how do you scale and how do you build a large organization? Right. So with that intent is where we started Foundership, where we enable 3 C's: coaching, capital, and community. We believe in getting the right set of coaches to work with you dedicatedly during the entire duration of a program, and not just getting Bimlesh for a 1 hour call and talking about one framework which suits all types of startups. Because at the end of the day, your startup is different, my startup is different, your constraints are different, my constraints are different, your strengths as a team is different, my strength as a team is different. So anything that I tell you at a 30,000 feet level may not be applicable to your context. So that's where we call ourselves as contextual coaching accelerator, where you get coaches to solve for your specific problem. And these coaches work with the startup for 3 months. On the capital side, we are partnered with over 50 plus capital investors who do both equity and token investments. And community, we have a large community presence in over 40 cities around the world with a 10,000 plus community size. And we do a mixture of IRL and IVL events. We are geographically based out of Singapore, India, and Dubai. So we act as a great bridge between the East and the West by bringing the empathy of India to the table.
Now, let me stop you there. For the innovation aspect, when looking at new projects, instead of just being a VC, you're saying that your team puts together the right pieces to help you grow over time with your accelerator program. It's more than just funding.
Yes. So look at it like this, right? It takes a village to make a startup successful. Right? All of us need to get surrounded with the right set of people so that you always have more than one person to talk to get different perspectives when you're challenged. Every day as a founder, we have a plethora of decisions to take, right? And no decision is right or wrong, but your ability to take the decisions matters on the perspectives you get from different people.
If I were a founder and I came into the fold with Foundership as a potential partner, what would be the steps you would take in teaching me how to maneuver in the blockchain industry? Are you guys focused strictly on blockchain startups?
Yes. Currently, we are focused exclusively on blockchain and AI. But primarily as a blockchain accelerator. We put this focus about 18 months ago, and we are still bullish on what Web3 and blockchain can bring to the table. And thanks to
Right.
yesterday's SEC clearance on Ethereum ETF coming on board, and last quarter or in the first quarter of this year, we saw Bitcoin ETFs get approved. So we are seeing this momentum shift of more liquidity coming into the Web3 ecosystem. Now,
Yeah, let me stop you there. One more thing. In addition to the Ethereum ETFs passing, we also had Fit 21, a new regulation here in the United States that has passed the House and now it's going to the Senate, I believe.
mhm.
So if that follows through and breaks these new barriers down, you have different entry points in the United States as well moving forward, and I think that will have an impact worldwide.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think US has taken its time to reach where they are right now. But as with any large regulatory frameworks that happen, US over the last few years, especially in technology space, has always found a way to stay ahead and retain a lot of the innovation and the liquidity on their shores, right? That's how we continue to find a lot of great companies still coming out of US, having US registered entities, coming out of there. Um, so one of the things that we do with early stage founders is so far we have run about 5 cohorts focusing on early stage
Okay.
startups. And we have a 90-day program for very early stage startups called Building Early Traction Program. The whole concept of
Okay.
this early traction program is to help you to get off the ground, get to a stage where now presentable for investors. So what do
Okay.
investors look for, right? So investors look for, do you have a great team? Do you have a great story to tell? How passionate about are you about the problem that you're solving? What insights do you have of the customers or the users for whom you're trying to solve this problem? How are you going to make money? How are you going to make me money as an
Revenue, yep.
investor? How are you going to make money as a company, right? These fundamentals don't change whether you're a Web 2 or a Web 3, right?
Okay.
That is still the perspective of the investor. The type of an investor makes a difference in Web3 because you have token investors and you have equity investors, right? That is something that you need to understand as a founder to say that what type of investors are investing in token only projects, what type of investors are coming in early for an equity and a potential future token as well. So this are the sort of distinction in which we take them through the program, help them understand, get their value propositions right, get their entire storytelling right, help them prioritize their product roadmaps, their their narratives on how are they going to talk to the investors, and end of the day enable them to a great demo day. With
When you
XDC,
see,
um,
yep, no, let
just
me
one
stop
second.
you there.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yep, no, you're good. You're good. Go for it.
Okay. So with XDC, what we have done differently with our sixth cohort is actually focus slightly on the later stage startups where the startups have already got some sort of users, they've got some sort of community, they have an active Twitter base as well, and they've built out an early version of their product.
Back to the groundwork as a founder. Do you see VCs coming in more as wanting the equity, or do you see them more wanting the token aspect when coming into helping the founders grow out their project?
Uh, there are both these type of investors out in the market today. There are if you're building an L2, or if you're coming up with a new L1, or if you're building a new protocol, you are not going to be launching your token anytime soon, right? But
Right.
you got to raise money to start building on this technology, to scale, to build, get users on board. So when your time to market your technology is going to take long, you will find you need to find investors who are ready to come on equity with a potential token warrant in future, right? But if you're a project that is doing token launch in the next 6 months, 10 months, or 12 months, you will find a lot of token only investors likely to come to invest into your project. Now, the psychology between the two is very different. An equity investor is okay to wait for 3 to 5 years to find an exit. A token investor
Okay.
is not ready to wait for 3 to 5 years. They want to get back their funds within 3 years.
Liquidity fast. Yep, I
Exactly. They want
understand.
faster liquidity, and hence, you'll find a variety of token investors trying to see which project can they make the fastest return on their liquidity.
When it comes to crowdfunding, does Foundership help a project come up with a strategy for crowdfunding and launch?
Yes, absolutely. So the way we look at every project is what is their fundability quotient, right? So as part of our investment committee decision framework, this is one of the important decisions that we take when you're evaluating startups to say that one, is this a hot narrative? Second, is this VC fundable? Or is this a crowd fundable? Or when I say crowd, it is crowd and community fundable initiatives, right? So which one of these three categories does it fall into? If it falls into the fourth, which means this is not a venture fundable category at all, in any of the first three categories, this becomes more like a lifestyle business, right? So we are very categorically clear in our minds when we evaluate startups to say that which one of these four categories that each one of the applications fall into, right? Obviously, we come in with a lot of responsibility as a VC in holding on other people's money who are our investors as well. Now, each startup has its potential. So obviously, the first layer of investment will come in from friends and family, right? As a first believers to get you jump started, help you set up your company, get your first hire, or get the product out, or spend it on marketing so that you create enough buzz and so on. It's only after this point that you will get angel investors, or you will get you know a micro VC coming in with a small check, or you could also build out with a grant. Now, at Foundership, what we do is to tackle to get you ready so that you're presentable for a grant uh, with our network of ecosystem partners. Second, we also get you ready so that by the end of the program, you have all the pieces of the puzzle in place so that you start pitching to angel investors and you start getting introductions to micro VCs who can write checks up to 250K. So
Okay.
for an early stage startup, what we recommend is while you may have a goal to raise $1 million, but start closing out the 50Ks, the 100Ks, and secure your first 250K.
Do you think it's better for a Web 2 project or a Web 3 project to go through the accelerator programs?
A combination of both, because
Okay.
end of it, we are looking at a great Web2 project can now monetize its community, incentivize community, and come on to Web3, or even its users. Or a Web3 project has a completely a degen solution who understands Web3 well, who has been involved in several communities, or who's been a user of DeFi solutions or a lot of wallets, and has found their niche problem statements on which they are passionate to build and they can communicate well. So
Say
we,
I am a business owner in the Web 2 space and I have a solution for business to business, whether it's some type of software or something that business owners would use. Do you help a Web 2 project come up with a solution to create a token side that would be implemented? And do you help them choose which blockchain they would most likely go with to be part of their overall solution?
yeah. So that's a great question. For these type of for these type of businesses that come to us, we don't put them into this 90-day program because the mindset and the knowledge required and the speed at which they need to operate is very different than
Okay.
than founders who are just starting off, right? So for such type of businesses, we run another program called the Launch Camp, which is more of a
Okay.
boutique one-to-one advisory. So we offer them advisory under the Launch Camp program. One-to-one advisory is where we take them through.
Okay, so if it was a Web 2 founder looking to get into the space and see what type of solutions they could put together, you guys do an individual program
Yeah,
one-on-one with the business owner to help them direct them through this Web 3
exactly.
space?
Exactly.
Okay, that's really cool. So your accelerator program, the 0xCamp, is a 90-day program for people familiar with the Web3 space. They just need direction.
Yes. They need direction, they need network access, they need ecosystem access, and they need to move fast to have tangible progress in 90 days, because end of it, it's opportunity cost, that whether I build my startup or I go take up a job elsewhere, right? Now,
Right, that's true.
it's very hard to stay focused, and we all have seen, as we are growing up, when you always have someone to guide you, to keep you stay focused, you tend to make a lot more progress, faster and better. And that's what
People
the
hold you
acceleration
accountable.
program is. And being held accountable, absolutely.
Yep. Okay, so for the 0xCamp, let's go into some of the previous accelerator programs that you guys have held in the past. Could you tell us about some of your success stories and any potential projects that we know about today?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a couple of them. So over the last 5 cohorts, 18 months, we have built a portfolio of about 40 companies, across 9 countries, in different categories as RWA, infrastructure, compute infrastructure. It could be gaming infra, and so on. So one of the most popular company, which is also building on XDC, coincidentally, is called Zot. They are an RWA project. They recently closed out a 2.5 million raise on equity, and now we are getting ready for the token launch later this year. The other project
Okay.
is called Circle of Games, which is now available on iPhone and Android as well. It is for hyper casual gaming, and you earn tokens based on every level that you cross in these hyper casual games. They raised $1
That's
million
cool.
from Hedera and Nazara, which is one of the largest gaming companies. And then we've got two exciting younger companies called Book Protocol. We got ZK Cross, which is um, who is building liquidity across chains using an infrastructure layer. Very excited. They've also built out a bridge on XDC. The other one is Book Protocol, which is building an infrastructure layer to enable time-sensitive assets to get resold. So it could be movie tickets, flight tickets, arena tickets, concert tickets that you bought, but you are not able to, sell them today. It can Each one of these tickets can get converted into an NFT, and now you can trade this and get access to the ownership of these tickets, right? So, and then we've got a company called Turf.gg, 0xturf.gg. They are building gaming infrastructure for esports, right? So they recently
Okay.
raised money from Draper Dragon as well. So we got a bunch of these companies who are doing some amazing work in different segments. Uh, there are companies who came to us very early just with an idea when we were also getting started in the Web3 space. Some came in with a product to say that, you know what, I'm a great product builder, but I have no clue on how to build community. I have no clue on marketing. I have no clue on
Right.
fundraising, right? So
You
this is
guys
what I
help with
mean.
that as well, marketing behind the projects?
Yes. So we first coach the founders on how as a founder you got to learn marketing, the basics of marketing, and then get you connected to the right marketing partner.
Let's circle back to the funding and the grants behind the 0xCamp accelerator programs. What types of funding, what types of numbers, how does the structure work behind some of these different funding mechanisms?
Absolutely. So at Foundership, we have kept it very simple. So there's an accelerator fee, and then there's a funding investment that comes in. For the entire acceleration program, we now put in a structure of about 2.52% advisory fee. These 2.5 can come in tokens under the advisory allocation of your token allocation. If you're an equity project, then it becomes 2% advisory equity. Now, the investments come in either from Foundership Ventures, which is our venture arm, or can come in from one of our partners, like in this case with XDC, right? Um, so these 100K investments come in approximately about 4% of the token allocation. So you're looking at a sweet spot valuation of about between 4 to 5 million valuation of your company on the token raise. And this is how we take it to the market. If at the time of the graduation of your program, we also will be looking to help you find co-investors who will invest along with us. So while we get the first right to invest of 100K for 4%, we are also happy to bring in and take you to other investors who will also co-invest and help you either fill your round or help you stay connected with these investors that they might be happy to invest in you at a later stage.
Do you guys have any government funding for grants in
Not yet.
participating locations?
Not yet. We are in works in setting that up in Dubai. Hopefully by end of this year, we should have some update on that.
Because I think about each of these different regions that are starting to become blockchain centric and they're accepting of the industry. I feel like at some point, these different governments around the world are going to want to play a role
Absolutely.
in the development and fostering of this new technology, specifically in their own country. If there's a Web3 project within a specific country that is doing well, they might want to get behind that. So I see a lot of potential for that in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I think Europe has done well in this aspect, where they do have a bunch of government grants being given if you're using blockchain for good, blockchain for social good, blockchain for empowering citizens and so on. But that's something that we haven't yet explored. That's one of our potential opportunities to build partnerships with different countries.
The next aspect of this interview is the 0xCamp for XDC network.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, this entire concept of a token launch program was conceptualized in January because when we were running our early traction program, we were getting a lot of late stage project requests to say that, hey, can you help us with our token launch? Right. And that's how the advisory program got, caught up steam in Q3 and Q4 and Q1 of last year and this year. And when we put this program together, we realized that Bitcoin had touched its all-time high, and this was a great time to launch tokens. And there are projects out there who have no clue on how to negotiate with market makers, where to find these market makers, which exchanges do I launch into, how should my tokenomics look like, how should I scale up my marketing, what sort of KOLs do I need, etc. One of the biggest advantages that we have had as chain agnostic accelerator is that we get to talk to everyone. We can build partnerships with everyone in the ecosystem, right? And over our experiences, we have figured out that we work well with certain set of people, certain set of organization cultures. And when we conceptualize this program, that this is a program where founders get to get all their ducks in a row on what it takes to launch their token, and they also get investments. We found great conversations and synergy with XDC. XDC is a great network which is truly believing in long-term success play on the blockchain success versus having very short-term visions on the blockchain success. And they being EVM compatible is a greater add-on because EVM continues to hold the largest amount of users and liquidity than any other chain in the ecosystem, right? So, and they also had plans for this year to invest in great projects that would launch on XDC. So we found this to be a great synergy.
For developers that are building out Web3 projects, do you want them specifically building on the XDC network to be a part of this program? Or is there a potential transitioning phase to onboard new projects to the XDC network? What does it look like from that perspective?
So I think this program invites both the categories, that if you're a startup who's already building on XDC, or if you're a startup who's built on other EVM compatible chains, if you want to get this 100K funding, then you've got to integrate XDC as well, right? That's a primary criteria to receive the 100,000 investment. Else, this program may not be truly beneficial for you, because you can get all the coaching and advisory, but you may essentially not get the 100K investment.
I'm saying more from a development standpoint when it comes to a founder needing funding. Do you guys provide the resources to transition from a different blockchain that may be slower or cost more per transaction, sure, and you see the possibilities of building on the XDC network? Do you provide the resources to a project founder to transition on to the XDC network?
The partnership with XDC is also such that all the technical resources that is required for someone to make this transition is going to come directly from the XDC team, right? Okay. And they are willing to share their team, their resources, their documentations to ensure that they give all the support that is required for this developer or the founder to transition into XDC.
At this point, a founder has to have a project ready to launch. They just need direction and guidance over a 90-day period.
Yeah. This particular program, the token launch program with XDC, is a purpose-specific program that you come in with an intent that between 90 to 180 days from the date of joining the program that you are going to go TG, right?
Okay.
If this is not your intent, then you may not qualify for this program. At later point of the year, we will be relaunching our early traction program, where many of the startups will become eligible to apply to that program.
So let's walk through the steps for a founder who would potentially want to join the 0xCamp Accelerator Program. What would be the steps they would need to take to join?
Sure. So head out to our website, take a look at 0xCamp, apply through it. It's a pretty standard application form. Yes, it is in detail because we would like to have as much information as possible for the offline review to take place. Our foundership team does the first level of screening, review, and rating based on the content that you have filled in the application forms. We then have 2 to 3 due diligence calls with the startups, because we believe that some of the top rated startups, you get a lot more context when you talk to them, and not once, but you get to understand them a little more deeper, understand their attributes of persistency, perseverance, and their true vision. When you not only talk once, but when you talk twice, thrice, before
multiple times,
before you make the offer to join the program.
What do you feel are the benefits for a founder when joining the XDC 0xCamp Accelerator Program?
Absolutely. So imagine that you join this program and you get 2 ecosystems access, right? One is the entire XDC ecosystem, which is an L1, and then you get the accelerator ecosystem of investors, partners, and fellow founders as well. So one of the biggest challenge as a founder is that you tend to build it all alone, and you tend to have a limited network. Now, having an accelerator partner like Foundership gets you now global access, whether you travel to US, you travel to Southeast Asia, you travel to Dubai. Foundership access is always available from its network for you to meet anyone that you want to meet in all parts of this world. From an L1 ecosystem, you have the entire power of the L1 ecosystem while you're in the program, and even after you graduate after the program, people are not going to stop attending to you. You still have access to people, you still have access to ecosystem. The difference is the intensity of that access will only change, right? So this is the most unseen benefit that a founder gets, which is of the highest value. The second category of value is in the shortest amount of time you can achieve maximum output. Because this is a token ready program in 90 days, today without a focused effort, if you were to start, and we have spoken to at least 50 plus founders in the last 6-9 months, all of them have taken close to a year to get ready for TG. And we believe that in 90 days, you can make substantial progress in getting ready for a TG if you're willing to stay focused.
You don't feel it takes a year every time?
No.
Okay.
It takes that amount of time because you're always spending time on researching. Okay, I got to speak
resources as well. Yep.
Exactly. So what if you get all that shortlisted, curated, vetted set of partners that you talk to, and you negotiate what you got to negotiate? Some of these partners, we have pre-negotiated some offers for you, and all these benefits come to you.
So you guys break it down with different categories within this as well.
Exactly.
It's not just the token aspect.
No. So in the first 4 weeks, the entire focus is getting your tokenomics right, getting your narrative right. What are you building? What is this token utility is all about? What's the narrative going on? Do we need to change your positioning? All this is done in the first 4 weeks. In these 4 weeks, we are going to be brutally honest with the founders that if you're not putting the effort to make this right, we are going to drop you off the program, right? Because you're not ready now, right? You might have too many things going on as a company, but you're just not going to catch up with the pace, right? So we also want to be categorically clear. Now, the moment you cross these 4 weeks program, the next phase starts. The next phase is all about getting introductions to various partners and now beginning those conversations on the potential listing of your project, getting those partnership conversations going, starting the negotiations and getting your pitch deck finalized and ready.
So you can also negotiate with different founders within the XDC network to potentially use your software or the different products you are building out when you join the Accelerator program. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, you are getting to negotiate with the marketing partners, with the different KOLs. You identify your KOL strategy. You identify the marketing agencies that you want to work with, what rates you're willing to work with them, depending on the budgets that you are having and the goals that you want to achieve. You negotiate with the market makers and the exchanges at what time and at what rates do you want your tokens to get listed and so on and so forth.
So when they look for potential partners within the XDC network, that's all on their own? Foundership has
them.
No part in that?
Foundership curates that access to them. For example, if you were to go out there, out in the market, there will be 25 market makers. Now, you don't need to talk to 25 market makers. There are tier 1 market makers, there are tier 2 market makers, and there are tier 3 market makers. And there are launch pads, which are again tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 launch pads. Now, not every project needs a launch pad. Not every project will be eligible for a tier 1 market maker, right? Now, which market maker this particular project needs to talk to is where the support of the Foundership Coach Network comes in as part of this program that, hey, Josh, your project, you talk to these 5 market makers. Among these 5, you negotiate, we'll help you negotiate, and you pick one. You need one launchpad because your project needs that launchpad support. Here are 3 launchpads that has got great results in the last 6 months. We'll help you talk to them and help you negotiate and choose one launchpad.
If I were to have a DePin project and say my DePin was to create a data set based on vehicle data, if I wanted to have a partner with, say, plugin on the XDC network for holding that data in a decentralized manner, is that potential partnership something Foundership would put together in this program, or is
Yeah, we
that
can.
something they would explore after the fact?
Yeah, we can, during the program, we can definitely explore that in partnership with XDC to say that, hey, for example, here is plugin. Plugin is an Oracle, for example, right? Now,
Yep.
Joshua is a startup founder and he feels plugin will be a great partner. So we will work with XDC to get introductions to plugin team and get you
And
guys
try to
connected.
work that out.
Exactly.
Yep. That's really cool. Now, when does the project Accelerator launch?
So the applications close on 31st May and the start date of the program is on 17th June.
Okay. So May 31st is the closing point for any developers who feel like they are at the final stages of development and ready for launch and to start that aspect of their journey. May 31st is the last day that you can apply for the XDC 0xCamp Accelerator Program.
Yep.
And you said the launch date is June what?
June 17th.
June 17th. That's when the program launches, and any founders who have been accepted into the Accelerator Program, that's when your new journey would start.
Absolutely.
Okay, now for listeners who want to get in touch with Foundership and more information about these accelerator programs, where can they go to learn more information?
They can head out to our website, foundershiphq.com. They can hit us up on Twitter. They can hit us up on LinkedIn. We are active on Telegram as well. You can join the Foundership community. On Telegram, just search for Foundership. You'll find us out there as well.
Okay, great. This has been the XDC Network Incubator Series featuring Foundership. Thank you for being here, brother.
Thank you so much, Josh. Pleasure talking to you today.
The Crypto News Podcast with your host, Joshua Roomsberg. Follow and subscribe today.